We are back with another 30 plus minutes of art commentary and drama to draw to. We'll be discussing art bullies, gooners, and much more. Grab your art supplies, game consoles, or food, and let's get started. Today's speed paints are of my OC's character sheets and some art fight attacks. If you want to see more of my art, follow me at Stargazer on Instagram. I made a community post asking for people's art community takes, and a lot of them can be boiled down to hostility in the art community. Whether it's stupid TikTok comments, hostility towards beginner artists, people bullying unique styles, harassment, and much, much more. Let's start with TikTok comments because I love niche TikTok drama. Unrelated, but apparently there's a lot of drama in the cake pop community on TikTok. I didn't even know that was a thing, but now I'm all caught up on the lore. Anyways, TikTok. Let's read I love Cheesecakeia 505's comment. I don't really like how hateful it is nowadays. It's like you can't do anything without it being criticized. I mean, if they want the criticism, that's okay. But if the artist doesn't want to change their art style or they don't want any tips, that's when it can get to a point. Even if it's the slightest pinch of criticism. For example, I like my style, but the only problem is that I don't use the regular anatomy. I've seen people claim that it's a rule in art when there isn't a single rule in art. Those people would probably hate seeing how caveman drawings looked back in the day. And don't get me started on those people. Those people who don't even write anything and just put up pictures or stickers to hate. For example, sun, sunnian, corny, cornball, STSU. I hate it. I loathe it. I want it dead. The first two paragraphs are pretty standard art community gripes, but that last part, I feel like it extends beyond the art community. No criticism, just the same stupid meme under every post ever. We can't just spend 5 extra seconds and actually write a critique, not even a sentence. Just gonna vaguely make fun of someone then scroll past. It's childish and incredibly unnecessary. That's how I feel about most of the hate on TikTok. It's not even passionate enough to call it hate, it's just rude. Innocent beginner artists aren't safe from this hate either. Newbest mom comments. Honestly, what really ticks me off about the art community these days is the hostility towards newer artists, whether grown or children. I've noticed that, especially in the art events like Art Fight, newer artists are always treated with hostility. People will have beginner artists do not interact in their bio, which is like, bro, you're literally getting art for free. People sometimes forget that feeling of being a new artist and seeing all the professional work being made and feeling major FOMO from not being able to draw what you want, how you want. A little bit of support goes a long way. And as an intermediate artist, all the support is enough to make someone keep going. Real, real, real. Especially that part about feeling FOMO from not being able to draw what you want. I don't think I've ever acknowledged that feeling. Even though I'm nowhere near a pro, I'm a lot better than I was when I started. I remember how frustrated I'd be when I couldn't draw something the way I wanted. I'd have a clear creative vision, but I couldn't for the life of me translate it onto a page. So to try your best to capture that vision, then get hate for it? Cruel. Genuinely cruel. Speaking of Art Fight, my next video is about all the drama that's happened on Art Fight, and I have a section dedicated to talking about the hate beginner artists get on the site. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Or stick around for the announcement so you can find out how to watch that video 1 month early. Another common art community debate, hating on people for having unique art styles. Carmine says, I wish that art styles weren't as hated on just because they might look different from how a person would like it to look. I mean, that's the reason why everyone has different art styles, because of their own liking/taste. It's not right to hate on someone just because their art style doesn't match your own. It's kind of like that discourse with the new artist that illustrates the Wings of Fire comic books and how people don't like how he draws the dragons. At the end of the day, someone else's art style isn't yours to boss around, because everybody is unique in their own ways. In the first video in this series, I talked about this problem of people giving unsolicited criticism. The artist does not care if you prefer if the eyes were drawn a little smaller. This isn't a commission. It's borderline entitled to even comment stuff like that. If the art style is not for you, it's not for you. Find an artist that draws in the style you prefer. This point is related to the next point, artists being harassed for no reason. Gojojojo Ye states, art community feels like a prison the last 3/4 years. If you do a tiny mistake, your chance to be respected is low. I'm not saying about serious stuff, genuinely harmful things should be criticized. I'm talking about some literally smallest quirk in your art style, and other artists will already send death threats. For example, You draw your characters with neon yellow teeth. Art does supposedly have no rules, yet the community have millions of them, and if you accidentally break one, it's the end for you. It didn't happen to me because I have really low views, but when I see other artists being harassed by others for an art style that I have, it just makes me want to hide my art. I'm still questioning if I should show my art to others in the first place, or what social media would be the best for showing my art. It's really sad that you even feel like you gotta hide your art away because you don't want the harassment. I mentioned this in a video of mine, Unpopular Art Opinions. Comment if you've been following since then, by the way. That video is like 2 years old. In that video, I mentioned how these TikTok dramas are overblown. Not every artist that posts their stuff online is gonna get immediately crucified. At most, you may get a weird comment or two. I've been posting on multiple platforms for 2 years now. I read a lot of the comments I get, and at most I've gotten maybe 3 odd comments, and I don't even remember what they said because it's so insignificant. The community has its rough sides, but it's mostly a positive space. Whenever there's a massive hate campaign against an artist for having a unique style, there's also a counter campaign raising up the artist, praising their uniqueness and shutting down the critics. We're getting controversial already. The art community shouldn't be run by teens. This isn't my personal opinion, but I saw a commenter talk about this and I have thoughts. The Vince Nader says, I think the art community should stop being run by teens. In brackets, coming from a teen. It's ruining their lives, like actually. Although every single community is like that, that doesn't mean they get to actively and naively engage in crude and harmful behavior. I miss when the art community was just sharing what you made, instead of a fierce competition to see who can get who cancelled first, and deem their art style under the category of, I never liked it anyway. Sorry I'm rambling. Teens can pursue and interact with the community. It's just that we shouldn't put them on a pedestal nor bash them. Not to be the age police, since a bunch of things are run on the internet by teens, but it's just a little worrying for them. I believe to sum this up is just, I don't want teens / young artists / any artist to cause literally any scandal for 1 minute over nothing. That's my 2 cents, and again, I don't think teens should run the art community. Damn, okay. If we switch the art community to the art drama community, I agree. I'll differentiate between art drama and art commentary first. These are my own personal definitions, but I feel like most would agree with this. Art drama videos are videos about problematic artists and trends. They're typically about bad / controversial people. For example, this TikTok artist scammed their customers. Art commentary videos are about general discourse in the art community. They range from positive to negative. For example, is anime art real art? Art drama videos and art commentary videos tend to overlap. For my channel, I try to stay away from art drama. I found that every YouTuber that centers themselves around art drama eventually ends up in drama, whether because they did something bad or someone they're associated with did something bad. And I don't want that heat. At most, I'm fine with loosely mentioning drama that's months old, only when it's relevant to the commentary at the focus, or the drama isn't about something genuinely dangerous, like tracing, art theft, etc. That's tame. Now that we're on this topic actually, I feel like it's good to share something with you all. I've had a few people ask me to make videos on call-out docs or dangerous people in the art community, and I just want to give the heads up that I don't make those kinds of videos for all the reasons I just listed. No hate to anyone who makes call-out videos, they're genuinely useful. It's just not what my channel's about. Anyways, back on topic. When I say teens shouldn't control art drama discourse, I specifically mean young teens, like under 15. There's a mix of petty and serious dramas that are always going around, always involving preteens / teens. Like the recent situation. I'm not even gonna get into all the details of that situation because I feel bad for everyone involved, but I also feel like they're all kind of at fault trying to shift the blame onto each other. It's like high school drama, except the whole internet is watching you bash each other. They've changed their usernames, but of course people still know their identities. The internet's forever, and this is the problem. You did / said questionable things when you were younger, and now your online identity is forever attached to it. Even outside of that situation, I hear minors talking about drama that shouldn't be drama. Being in spaces with creepy adults and talking about their experiences. I don't know how to say this without sounding like a victim blamer, but I don't think this is victim blaming. This is basic internet safety. Don't be in Discord servers with adults. especially if they're talking about NSFW things. Find communities for people that are your own age and report servers that do illegal stuff. At the same time though, sometimes people come to the internet for a sense of community because they don't have that in real life. It would be cruel to take that community away from someone who's already isolated. It's complicated. Personally, I think it's fine for people of any age to make art videos, as long as they're above 13 of course. But when it comes to controversial topics like art drama, maybe wait till you're a bit older and can handle any backlash that comes from talking about dangerous people. Another commenter, Squigglet, says, I think there are way too many minors who run this community. The biggest reason why the TikTok art community is notorious for having such a big bullying problem and constant drama over things like people's art styles is because most of them are immature kids/teens who are too young to be on the internet. Yeah, this ties back to my first point about hostility in the art community. Pro tip, if you ever get a rude hate comment, imagine there's a child on the other end of the screen. It's hard to take that seriously. Do you guys agree that teens shouldn't be running the art community? Or do you think it's unfair to not let them be part of these conversations? Let me know in the comments. Checking my analytics, a third of my audience are minors, so I'm interested to see if the minors and the majors would have different thoughts on this topic. The next topic can be its own video. Art of curvy women is immediately considered gooner art. This topic is mostly inspired by discourse from a while back. It's about Glitch's new show Game Overs, specifically the main character, Kit Bodega. People on Twitter were seriously calling her gooner bait. She's just a woman with boobs. I've seen egregious designs where it's like they made the hot woman design first and then the personality and backstory second, but she looks normal. She's curvy, yeah, but not anything too unrealistic or exaggerated. I personally find her design pleasing. I like how everything's balanced out. Wide hips, big arm gloves, thick thighs, thick boots. I did still like the trend where people were redesigning the character. I like redesigns in general. It's nice to see people's alternative takes on a familiar character. I did think some of the designs were made before watching the pilot though. Like, I saw some people making her look scruffy and beat up since she's fighting evil and whatever, but she's meant to look like a polished video game character. When she does get hurt in the show, she does look rough, and then uses video game logic to clean herself up. I feel like that little scene of world building wouldn't have been as impactful if she just always looked rough. But anyways, I'm getting too in the weeds. If you want to hear me talk more about animated shows, you can watch the last video in this series. I talk a lot about Glitch's indie shows in that video, including the Amazing Digital Circus. The commenter A Sealtix says, okay, this take might get me burned, but can we not hate on artists for drawing something freaky? As long as both the characters are in legal relationships and they give a warning, there's no reason to hate. Or if you draw a big chest, people will call it gooner art. And yeah, I completely agree. This gooner bait stuff draws from and affects real life as well. I'm going beyond the art community here, but there's so many women that have talked about how the second they hit puberty, they're being told to cover up. They can wear the same shorts as another girl, but because they're developed, it's seen as inappropriate. It's just unfair and disgusting. Back on the topic of bullying artists, let's talk about Mary Sue's and how they get too much hate. First, a Mary Sue is a character, often female, that's incredibly unique. Everyone in their story either loves them for being so special or is super jealous of how cool and rad she is. She's got purple eyes and naturally rainbow hair. She can also read minds and do 51 backflips in a row. Her worst flaw is being shy. In summary, this is a derogatory term made to make fun of unrealistic characters. Losers5662 has a controversial opinion. They commented, I like when people make overpowered / cringy OCs, self-inserts plus self-shipping, stuff like that. It's harmless fun and I hate when they get bullied or ridiculed for doing stuff like that. I mean, yeah, it's cringy, but I feel like cringe has become synonymous with people simply expressing themselves and having fun online. Yeah, generally there is zero issue with making these kinds of characters. It's a fair critique if we're talking about characters from a mainstream show, because you'd expect better from a team of writers, but if some 14-year-old wants to make an edgy, extraordinary character, let them. They can laugh about it in the future. And I heavy agree on that last part. It feels like cringe has become synonymous with people simply expressing themselves and having fun online. I think we'd all be a lot happier if we abolished the word cringe. The last comment mentioned something about self-inserts and self-ships, which reminds me of the topic of Yumeshipping. Yumeshipping is when you ship yourself or an original character with a fictional character. There's a lot of people that have gone viral for this. Off the top of my head, there's the guy that married Miku, and someone who ships themselves with a couple from American Dad. A while back, I saw this artist that ships themselves with Bubble Bass from SpongeBob. At first I laughed because out of all the characters, you want your man to be Bubble Bass? But after seeing more of their art, it's actually really wholesome. They're like this cute nerdy couple. Danny Saurus 606 says, Yumeshipping, self-shipping is amazing. F cringe culture. If it gives you passion for making more art, it should be celebrated. Bonus points for the mental health benefits. This makes me think, who would I ship myself with? Okay, this is a specific reference. There's this show from the early 2000s called Everwood. It got added to Netflix a while back. There's a guy on the show called Ephraim, and he's really cool. Like, think angsty, loves rock music and anime, thoughtful guy, yearner to his core. I ship myself with season 4 him when he's an adult. If I could do a platonic Yume ship, I'll choose Luz from the Owl House. I'd love to talk to her about art. Now I want to know what characters you guys would ship yourselves with. Please comment. I need to judge your choices. Okay, this next person's take is a two-parter. We'll start with their first opinion because it's really interesting and I haven't heard it talked about before. Artists going into commission work should learn business practices. REG123 says, artists going into commission work need to understand it's a business and should learn business practices. I'm an artist starting commissions myself. But way more importantly, I'm a business college student, and I learned that business is not nearly as scary as movies and media has made it out to be. But I've also seen many a commission artist become a scammer because they take on a bunch of projects, don't do them, get requests for refunds of money they've already spent, and in turn do more commissions to get to pay off their customers. Commissions are a business, and if you don't control your finances like a business would, you shouldn't get into the scene. You will make a pariah of yourself and ruin your integrity as an artist. To me, it's why I don't like seeing friends who get a burst of artistic inspo suddenly take on commissions out of nowhere for big amounts of money. A working artist will not always be inspired. They have to work through inspiration, and beginners haven't had that art block moment yet, meaning it'll happen on a high-ticket commission and it'll lead to the scammer pipeline, which I don't want anyone to be accused of. First of all, the idea of getting refund requests because you couldn't fulfill commissions and in turn doing more commissions is actually crazy work. Like, that is genuinely funny. But Ari's right. Commissions cost a lot of money and it's incredibly disrespectful and scammy to not deliver. Especially because this isn't like a bike where if someone doesn't want it, the store can just sell it to someone else. Either the commissioner likes it and you get paid, or they don't, and you wasted your time and their money. That part about how you have to work through whether you're inspired or not is exactly why I don't do commissions. I'd get burnt out instantly. Also, I fear I don't have the skill/style for commissions yet. I'm working on it though. We'll talk about art skills later in this video. As part of the announcement, which is after this topic, we're almost there, I was going to start drawing icons for people. After attempting to, I give up. It took way longer than I expected, and I knew I wouldn't have enough time to dedicate to drawing icons once school starts. I barely have enough time right now, and it's summer break. I think if you're planning on starting commissions, practice free/cheap commissions before doing it for real to see if you can actually handle that workload. Otherwise, you're gonna get a Twitter hate mob, and we don't want that. With the channel hitting the big milestone of 20,000 subscribers, and it being a year since I started the series that brought me here, it feels like the right time to announce this. I'm starting a Patreon. For the price of a donut, you can get access to bonus videos like sketchbook tours and clothing DIYs, and get the behind the scenes on my most popular videos. Or, if you're craving more, feast on exclusive art and uninterrupted real-time speed paints. If you're in the mood for something lighter, consider spending a little to get long videos like these ones up to 1 month early, and participate in polls so you can contribute to every part of the video process. Right now, there's already content up for each tier, including a long video on the many dramas of Art Fight. So if you want more to watch after watching this video, consider checking out the Patreon and subscribing for all the extra content. It's 20% off until September 15th with code DAY1. We've also got a bonus announcement. New channel theme. I need help choosing a community name for you guys so I can stop calling you guys. Go to the community page and vote between Star Chips and Copixels. While you're there, you may notice something a little different. I've opened the community tab. Starting now, you can post your art and art community ramblings to the community tab. Send photos of what you were doing while watching this video. Thank you guys for all the support over this past year. I'm really glad I'm able to launch something like this and work towards making this my job. Your support, whether monetary or free, means so much, and it ensures that I can keep on making videos like this one. So if you want to free me from the computer science industry and get more art videos like these, support me on Patreon. Let's talk new Gen Animators. I've stumbled back into the storytime animation community. I'm not on the same side I was on before though. I've mostly been watching new Black animators, specifically Ons Lemur, Cole 00, Val, and MVP Chan Demand. Damn, that's a lot. Okay, I'm gonna go through the list in glaze. First, the one that started me down this rabbit hole, Lemur. I hope I'm saying that right, I think it's Lemur. I was so hooked to those How One Girl Destroyed My Entire Friend Group videos. Unskippable title. I don't even want to spoil it because the way he tells the story is so engaging. It's funny hearing how petty and off everyone was. I also like how his style looks anime-esque, but still unique and identifiable. Next is Cole. They've got a soft voice that's pleasing to listen to, and it's cute hearing about their first crush / first relationship stories. It's nostalgic. It makes me think of when I was back in elementary school, navigating similar situations. Val is the newest creator off that list, I think. I watched her video about going to Fat Camp. She's also got a funny delivery, and the story is pretty unique too. I've heard of Fat Camps, but I don't know much about the experience of going to one, so I like that she offers this unique perspective. Also, I just clicked onto her channel and saw this artwork of her and a bunch of other Black YouTubers, and I love this. We love to see it. And last but not least, MVP Chan Demand. He's the latest one that I've gotten into, so I haven't seen too many of his videos, but the ones I've seen so far have been fun. A lot of girlfriend / ex-girlfriend stories. I love hearing about messy relationship drama. Those stories are always so layered. I love talking about the animation community and seeing how it's changed in advance, especially seeing more Black people getting attention. It makes me want to post my own storytime animations, but I fear my most interesting stories happened too recently, and I still loosely know some of the people involved. Maybe after I graduate, I'll start making some. Let's talk about art skills. In my opinion, figure drawing is the hardest art fundamental. I'll put some examples on screen if you haven't heard of it before. Basically, it's a timed drawing of a human figure. Usually it's about 2 minutes, but it can vary, whatever the artist prefers. It's a highly recommended study. A lot of portfolio requirements include figure drawing. It shows your understanding of the human form. So this summer, I tried practicing it, and it did not go well. My biggest issue is with the time pressure. I never know how much detail to add. I also don't know if I should just start outlining or if I should draw a rough skeleton first. It also always either comes out really bad or at most passable. It takes so much mental energy. You have to think about every line and shape you place on the page. If you mess it up, you gotta keep pushing because you have 30 seconds remaining and you've only drawn the left ear. I gave up because it was genuinely so frustrating, and I realized I hated it too much to keep up with it. I know that eventually I'd get better and it would look better, but nah, I can't handle all that. That's when I switched to Drawbox. Drawbox is a website that has a lot of art practice. It's a free art course. It goes beyond the fundamentals. Like, usually when you think about art fundamentals, you think anatomy, color theory, etc. But I don't think the course even touches on that stuff. It teaches you how to hold a pencil when you draw, how to draw lines, how to draw boxes, etc. Very, very bare bones. I think it could be useful for beginners and intermediates. It teaches you good art habits. They've also got YouTube videos. In my experience, the website lessons and the video lessons are near identical. I've still been trying to both read the lessons and watch the video lessons because that's what the guy running it says to do, but it is mildly bothersome hearing the same information in two formats. Anyways, we got a bit off topic. I do want to know if anyone's actually finished Drawbox, because so far I couldn't find anyone talking about finishing the entire course. And please let me know if you'd also rather pull all of your hair out than do one figure drawing. Our friend REG's got more to say. Learning art doesn't have to be boring. REG123 says, on the second opinion, I've had a flood of reels and other media talking about fundamentals, which are good. Learning basic elements and principles of art helped my improvement immensely, but very often they use the same practices of a million boxes in different angles or skeletal anatomy practice to name some, and it's not bad, but it's a very specific learning style that not many artists have. Many artists learn through application. I only figured out perspective through art projects such as drawing a city with 2-point perspective, learning anatomy through drawing characters in unique poses, learning material rendering by drawing robots with shiny metal. I still learned a lot of fundamentals, but it never felt like homework because I infused it with the art ideas I wanted to make. But to many, it doesn't look like practice. Therefore, it isn't practice. Many artists will get stumped if they try to do those fundamental pieces and don't see it applied to their art as smoothly as they wanted, and they'll get frustrated because they'll feel like the lessons are a waste of time when they could be drawing something cool, or they'll feel like they don't deserve to draw cool things because they can't complete the simple fundamental stuff. After which, those who can do the fundamentals homework often feel like they should be better than everyone else, but then grow frustrated at seeing someone who doesn't practice thrive as they stagnate. Art does have rules that are made to be broken once understood, but learning these rules should never be homework, and I'm tired of seeing what makes art good be treated as nothing more than boring lessons you have to learn. You should want to learn these elements and principles. I like how this comment addressed every problem I have with learning art. I feel like I'm just not one for art study. Even setting aside the time constraints, I simply don't care. I can't find any passion or interest for learning, even if it will ultimately make drawing easier and make my art better. It's like being a toddler forced to eat veggies. You don't care about the health benefits, it just tastes yucky. I like how I unintentionally compared myself to a toddler. We're gonna roll with this analogy though. Instead of forcing a kid to eat plain broccoli, feed them veggies in a style they like. Season them. Mix it with something they like. Give them a smaller portion. Approach learning art in the same way. I've heard some tips on how to make art study fun. Instead of drawing random people, draw actors you like. To practice dynamic poses, draw anime figurines. Don't just practice anything. Practice what you specifically need to know. As in, if you're passionate about human portraits, feel free to skip the landscape studies. If you'll allow me one more analogy, I know I make too many analogies, I like them, shush. It's kind of common knowledge that it's better to find one easy exercise that you like and will consistently do than force yourself to do a full body intense workout every day because that's technically better for you. Because eventually you're gonna burn out and quit. So far, Drawbox has been this easy, doable practice for me. It's really easy and fast to get through the lessons. It barely feels like I'm studying, but I still feel the effects when I'm drawing. You wouldn't think drawing hundreds of lines would do anything for you, but after doing that, then drawing a full piece, I've noticed how my lines are better when I do it in one go rather than basically chicken scratching it. I'm drawing with confidence. Some freaks out there enjoy figure drawing and anatomy studies, so keep up with it, I guess. But for us normies, find ways to make this stuff enjoyable. If you have any tips for making art study fun, drop them in the comments. And thank you RAG for the thoughtful comment. Thank you to everyone who leaves comments on my community posts and pinned comments. It makes it a lot easier to make these videos when I'm given a good topic starter. As it is the art fight season, I thought it would be nice to end off on some art fight opinions. At 8 a piece of glass says, actually, no, we're gonna acknowledge this username first. That is so random. Anyways, at 8 a piece of glass says, this happened to my friend last year. She was attacked by some person and took revenge as usual, and on that person's profile, they had a channel linked in their bio. When she got there, turns out this person was stealing people's revenge attacks and posting them as their own in their little art channel. Not to mention, the attacks they gave were also stolen as well. I have never heard of something like this before. That is so slimy. Also, I wonder how they were getting away with posting this on YouTube. Wouldn't commenters catch on that their style and skill level looked so different between each artwork? This is a good time to remind people, put your signature on any artwork you're posting online, preferably somewhere that's hard to crop. Genderance McSilly says, I hate how people have made it seem like you need a new reference sheet for all of your characters each year, even if the design is the same. Man, I hate drawing reference sheets. I only managed to draw one this summer. You know what sucks? I had one character left. One character left and I was done drawing all of my main characters. And then I decided to revamp the whole story, so half their information is getting scrapped. It's gonna be so fun drawing them all again. I'm so excited. Envious Art says, I remember last year there was an influx of attacks with people's OCs being hit by cars. People wouldn't see any no gore in their permissions, so they assumed it was fine to draw straight up full gore. The worst part is when people just ignored permissions and drew gore of OCs. Well, that's insane. I feel like if someone doesn't explicitly say they're okay with NSFW art, either ask them for their consent or just leave their OCs alone. A Mermaid's Tale says, I saw some people a little frustrated about established characters having to be cropped out if they aren't significantly different from their canon selves. I can understand why that would be annoying, but I think it's probably related to copyright infringement and wanting to prioritize OCs, so I personally don't really care about it. That's a very fair rule. This event is for OCs, original characters. If you're borderline re-uploading official designs, of course that's not going to be allowed. Anyways, don't forget to check out the Patreon if you want loads more videos and art content. Subscribe for more art videos and hype this video. The next Watch This As You Draw will likely be about Hamilton, so reply to the pinned comments with your Hamilton takes. If you're not done drawing yet, watch my other art and commentary videos on screen now. Bye!